Welcome back to AF Tales. In today's story, we explore what happens when someone quietly treats their partner as a downgrade from a richer ex. As you listen, notice the moment where you think he should have walked away. My girlfriend said, "I'm not in love." I replied, "That explains a lot." Then I canceled the proposal trip, split our finances like roommates, packed my own future, and watched her realize too late that comfort was never the same as real love. I am Cole, 29, a high school history teacher in suburban Chicago. I make about $52,000 a year and I am proud of the work I do. My girlfriend, Madison, is 27 and works in marketing. She comes from a wealthy family. We have been together for 18 months and living together for 6. On paper, things looked good. We laughed a lot, like the same shows cooked together. The connection felt real. But slowly, money started sneaking into the middle of us. Madison grew up in a different world than I did. Her dad is a successful real estate developer. Her mom never worked. She had private school study abroad, a car at 16. I grew up working class. My dad was a mechanic. My mom worked retail, and every extra dollar went into a jar on top of the fridge. I worked my way through college with 2 jobs and student loans because teaching was what I wanted, even if it was not flashy. At first, the comments were small. Jokes about my car being practical but boring. Comments about how someday we would have to upgrade the furniture. Questions about whether I had thought about a more lucrative career than teaching. Looking back, those were the first red flags I tried to shrug off. It is very easy to tell yourself they are just jokes when you want the relationship to work. The breaking point started with something simple: a vacation. I had been saving for months and found a cabin in Wisconsin on a lake. Hiking trails, quiet town, long weekend for about $800 total. It felt like something I could realistically afford and still be responsible. I told Madison about it, expecting her to be excited. Instead, she took out her phone and pulled up resorts in Mexico and the Caribbean. Infinity pools, beach views, price tags in the thousands. She said she wanted real trips now, not a cabin in the woods. I explained my budget, said maybe we could plan a bigger trip next year if we both saved. I reminded her that a weekend away together is still a real experience, even if it is not on a resort brochure. She gave me a look I had never seen before: frustration, disappointment, and something like pity all mixed together. Then she said the line that changed everything. "You know what, Cole? You will never be able to make as much money as Preston did. I need to accept that and adjust my expectations." Preston is her ex, the finance guy, the one she dated for 2 years before me, the one who, according to her, was not emotionally available. Hearing my worth measured against his paycheck like it was a simple math problem felt like being punched in the stomach. She did not shout. She said it calmly, like she was talking about the weather. That made it worse. I asked what she meant. She immediately tried to walk it back, said she was frustrated that she did not mean it that way. But once you hear that sentence, you cannot unhear it. I told her I needed some air and went to my friend Jake's place. Jake is a plumber and has been my best friend since high school. When I told him what she said, he did not sugarcoat it. He said she was basically calling me not good enough because of my paycheck. Sometimes you need a friend to say the quiet part out loud. When I got home later, Madison was in bed scrolling her phone. She patted the mattress next to her like nothing had happened. I sat down and asked her straight. "Do you resent me for not making more money?" She said she did not. Said she loved me. Said she had only said something stupid because she was disappointed about the trip and asked if we could move past it. I told her that saying something stupid and revealing what you really think are not always different things. The next day, we tried to talk again, and somehow she made it worse. She said she was just being realistic. That Preston made over $200,000 a year, I made 52, and that this was just math. She said she was learning to accept that she could not have the same lifestyle with me that she had with him. She called it acceptance. It felt like settling. I asked if that was how she saw us. Her settling for someone who could not give her luxury trips but could give her emotional support. She tried to balance it like a chart. Preston had money but no emotional depth. I had heart but not the same income. She kept saying both things could be true. Then I asked her a question I already dreaded the answer to. If Preston called tomorrow and wanted you back, would you consider it? She called it an unfair question, reminded me he was engaged, said it would not happen. But she never said no. She never said, not in a million years, you are the person I want. That silence said a lot. A few days later, another piece of the puzzle fell into place. I borrowed her laptop and saw her Instagram open on Preston's profile. Photos of fancy restaurants, trips to Bali and Greece, his fiancée wearing designer jewelry. Madison had liked several recent posts. While I was budgeting for a cabin in Wisconsin, she was scrolling and liking the life she used to have. My brain started replaying everything. How she would say we should split dinner, fairly, based on what we each ordered, like she was doing me a favor when I chose the cheaper meal. The tone when she introduced me at her friend's wedding as Cole, he is a teacher. Not proud, more like a disclaimer. Sometimes you do not notice the pattern until one comment flips on the light. The final straw came on a random night that started out normal. Madison had her friend Brooke over for wine. I was in the bedroom grading papers with headphones on. Around 9, I finished, took the headphones off and walked down the hallway to get some water. I heard my name. They did not know I could hear them. Brooke asked how things were between us. Madison sighed and said something like this. I mean, I love Cole. He is genuinely a good guy, but I miss being able to just buy things with Preston. If I wanted something, I just got it. With Cole, everything is a budget discussion. It is exhausting. I just wish I could have Cole's heart with Preston's bank account. That would be perfect. Hearing yourself described as half of a custom build, the emotional piece attached to someone else's money, is a special kind of gut punch. This is where a lot of people tell themselves their partner did not mean it, but her words were clear. I stood in the hallway for a while, then went back to the bedroom. When Brooke left, Madison came in smiling and asked if I wanted to watch a movie. I told her I had a question and I needed honesty, not comfort. I asked her again if she would stay with me over Preston if she could choose all over. I told her I heard enough of her conversation to know money was still very much on her mind. She started crying, said she did not mean it that way, said everyone vents to friends. She insisted she loved me, that she just missed parts of her old life. There is a difference between missing a lifestyle and devaluing the person you are with. This is where many people stay and hope it gets better, even when the pattern is clear. I told her I was going to stay with Jake for a few days to think. She followed me around the apartment while I packed, sometimes apologizing, sometimes defensive. At one point, she said she had been patient with my financial limitations, and that she had adjusted her expectations when she chose me. That told me everything. I moved in with Jake and his girlfriend Amy for a while. Madison kept sending long texts about compromise, counseling, and love, but every message still circled around the same theme. She was asking me to accept being seen as less than, as a downgrade she was trying to tolerate. After a couple of days, I knew what I needed to do. When I went back to the apartment that weekend, she was ready with articles about relationship counseling and notes like it was a work presentation. She had tissues out, talking points written down. She expected a negotiation. I sat across from her and said we needed to end the relationship. She started crying and called it giving up. She said couples work through things like this. She said I was throwing away 18 months over money. I told her I was not throwing away anything. I was walking away from being compared to a man I had never met and losing every time because I did not come with a certain salary. I told her I am not a custom order. I am not Preston's bank account with my emotional availability added on top. I am a teacher who makes around $52,000 a year and probably always will. I am proud of that, but she was not proud. She was tolerating it. I asked her when she last came to my classroom, when she last asked about my students or my coaching, when she last sounded excited about what I do instead of treating it like a limitation. She did not have an answer. I also told her I knew what she had said to Brooke. She tried to explain it as venting. I told her that even if you only say something once, you say it because part of you believes it. She said I was selfish. Said she could have chosen a man who bought her nice things, but chose me because she thought I was mature enough to handle an adult relationship. That was the moment I stopped feeling guilty. I told her she should go find someone who enjoys being called a financial limitation. That person was not going to be me. Then I left. The first week after the breakup hurt. Any breakup does. I missed the good parts of us. The easy conversations, the quiet nights, the feeling of having someone. I also noticed something else. I stopped constantly apologizing for my life. A few days later, one of my students, Marcus, stayed after class. He is a kid who has been on the edge all year. He told me he had decided not to drop out. He said my class was the only one where he felt like the teacher cared if he understood things, and that it made him want to keep trying. He is now passing and talking about community college. That 5-minute conversation did more for my sense of worth than any luxury vacation photo ever could. My sister Vesper took me out for dinner and told me I looked more like myself again. She reminded me that years ago I said I wanted to be a teacher because one teacher made history matter to me. She said I had become that person for other kids and that no one who truly loved me would make me feel small for it. Even Madison's friend Brooke surprised me. I ran into her at a coffee shop and she pulled me aside. She told me she had told Madison she was making a mistake, that I was the best boyfriend Madison had ever had, and she could not see it because she was too busy comparing bank accounts. Sometimes the outside view is clearer than the inside one. Right now, I am not rushing into dating. I am rebuilding my confidence and trying to remember every day that my value is not a number on a pay stub. When I do date again, I want someone who sees my work as meaningful, not as a limitation they have to adjust to. Here are some of the lessons I took from all of this. Lesson 1. If someone keeps comparing you to their ex, especially in terms of money or status, that is not harmless talk. It is a sign their heart is still chasing a different life. Lesson 2. When a partner frames you as something they have to settle for, the relationship is already breaking. You deserve to be chosen, not tolerated. Lesson 3. Money matters in practical ways, but if your worth is always measured by your income, you will never feel safe in that relationship. Lesson 4. Venting to friends is normal, but if what they say behind your back is the exact fear you carry in your chest, believe that version. Lesson 5. Choosing meaningful work over a bigger paycheck is not a flaw. The right person will see that as strength, not weakness. What about you? At what point in this story would you have walked away? Have you ever had a partner who made you feel like a downgrade instead of a choice? Share what you think.